Welcome to the Yellow Jacket Experience. I'm your host, Seth Dussault, the voice of the Yellow Jackets, and joining me from our softball team is Victoria Andrade. She's the third baseman, catcher, does it all, awesome player. V, how are we doing today?
Doing good.
Good, good. I know you played a lot of sports growing up. How did you first get into them, and in particular, what attracted you to softball?
So I started off really young with basically just soccer and softball, and I was actually like better and picked up soccer faster. But then around like when I started playing like more travel ball and stuff when I was 8, that's when like I really started to enjoy softball more, and I would do a lot of like stuff out of season to like get prepared. So I kind of like realized that was going to be my number one sport.
Now, your team, as you got older, got into high school, you had a lot of success. What was the experience of playing at the high school level like for you?
I actually had a really good like high school experience for softball wise. My freshman and sophomore year, we went to championship twice, and the second year we ended up winning. I had a great coach in high school, Harold Sachs. He now is the pitching coach for Merrimack College, so that was pretty cool. Like I was kind of coached by already like what I needed to do in college. So it was awesome. And then my junior and senior year, we ended up getting a new coach, but still, it was like Salem softball was a great organization. We always have really good history with our softball teams.
Now, you mentioned playing soccer. I know in high school you played basketball as well. What
Mhm.
did you take from those sports, and how did you apply maybe some of the things that you learned from playing other sports to softball, or how did it help you become a better softball player?
Actually, I was a goalie in soccer, and like that's all I played. And up until college, I was only a catcher in softball. So those two kind of went hand in hand. Like my hand-eye coordination really got a lot better because of goalie and always seeing a ball and used to using my hands. Um, in basketball, I got a lot of like the right way to change direction, and same thing with soccer. Like that's really like helped me along my way, like with I'm not too good with my speed forward, but I'm really good side to side, and that's a lot because of soccer and where I played is basketball too. So it's good.
And I was going to say, being able to move quickly laterally to block a pitch that isn't going where you want it to go is certainly a super important skill to have.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned having a coach in high school that's now coaching at the collegiate level. When you were starting to think about college and that next step, how did you end up getting in contact with AIC, and what made you decide that Springfield was right for you to come here to AIC?
I was looking for my freshman sophomore year of high school. I was looking at a couple of other schools, but I never really got the interest as much as I wanted from them. And I always wanted to play on a team where like a coach fully saw me for who I am and my potential. And it was an 88 game, and it was my first at bat, and I ended up hitting a home run, and then I threw a girl out at second base who stole on me, and then picked somebody off at first, and my assistant coach, who's not here now, but she was at the game, right away offered me. And I was like, I like this. She really does like me. And that's what I always wanted, was like a coach who really loved her players. So that's kind of why and I got lucky with Coach Solis. Like she wasn't the coach who recruited me, but I really love coaching. I got super lucky.
Now, you come to AIC. You mentioned, you were always just a catcher in high school. Your
Mhm.
freshman year, you got into the lineup, and I know people will do whatever you have to do to get in. You played a lot of games at third base. What was it like as a freshman starting right away and also adjusting to playing a position that you probably hadn't spent much time at before?
Um, I was just very excited to like get that like from coach that she like wanted me to play almost. So it like made me work harder, and her always had confidence in me at third base because she knew I was just picking it up. Like I've never played another position besides catcher. My whole since I started at 8 until now, I've only ever been a catcher. So I mean, it was difficult, but I had my other freshman, Mackenzie Oliva, was my shortstop at the time. So it was good. We both got thrown into that starting position. So we kind of were together a lot. And actually, when I would play third base with Jay at short, that was really helpful too. Jay is like, anytime I make a mistake, I look right over it, and she's like, oh, you could have done this and this. Like, we're very helpful to each other. And that's how me and Mackenzie were too. It's like throughout the game, the whole time, it's a lot of communication.
You've talked about how playing other sports has helped you become a better softball player. How has maybe playing third made you a better catcher? And maybe also like what things can you take as a catcher that helped you to be successful at third?
So I needed to be very fast at third base. So being turned into that, I kind of like realized like you want to be at the next level, and to be at that next level at third base, you need to be quick. So I kind of got faster. Like I try to work on more things to get my speed faster. Um, Third base into catching, I feel like it just opened my eyes. Like I feel like I can communicate with my third basemen better. Um, Calling pitches wise, like I can read a lot better on the field. Like I don't know, I feel like it does connect in like different ways.
Yeah, it's certainly, yeah, always a learning experience.
Hmm.
Um, Now you were paired behind the plate because you did catch some your freshman season, and you've caught more as your career has gone on. Kaylee Kemp, who's now an assistant coach, was one of our top catchers. You got to work with her as a teammate. Now you're working with her as a coach. What have you learned from working with Turtle?
I really like to hear. It's really cool to like hear how other people like try to call, because like there was a lot of times, like you said, I wasn't catching too much, so I had to go to her about what she saw in the pitches and like what she was calling for them. And she was in college before me, so it's a completely different game. So it was nice to hear from her how her sequence of calling, or what she looks in a batter, or what she looks like, what she looks for in our pitchers. So I got a lot from that from her. She really helped me with my blocking a lot too, because I was good at blocking, but sometimes I just didn't fire the block right away. So she was really good with that. She was a very good hitter as well. So I got a lot of things from that too. We know that from her stats. She was a good hitter. But now we just like really try to communicate as much as we can, and we have that understanding now. It's cool.
Softball team last year was down in Florida when kind of everything stopped because of COVID. What was that entire experience like for you guys, especially going out in the field that last day, going into a game where you kind of knew, okay, this is it for our season, playing that final game?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we all just didn't really want to believe it, like in a way that it was happening. Like we heard possibly and like all these things, but we were like far from, like we were in Florida and everything that was going on in Mass. We didn't know if it was the same, like if COVID was really like turning up that much yet. So we kind of were like, oh no, we might be fine, we might be fine. And then we ended up finding out, and it was really heartbreaking because we worked so hard those weeks leading up to Florida, and to have it taken away was like, I've had softball in my life, and it was like the most consistent thing all of my life. So this is the first time period where I actually have not been able to play for a year now or whatever it is. So it was really heartbreaking. But it was good to be able to go through it with my teammates, I guess. Like we all had each other. I think it's what made us have that drive now, because it was taken away like that, and now we know it could happen at any time. I really think it made a lot of like our players come back and even more hungry for this year.
Now, we do have a plan to play a full regular season for 2021, assuming that that works, and hopefully it does. What kind of goals do you have for yourself for this upcoming season, which is your third with the team?
Um, I definitely want to fully understand like every pitcher that I have, so that way like when I get into a game, we're always on the same understanding and like what's working for their pitches that day and stuff like that. And I really want to like get my hitting, like consistently being a power hitter that I know I can be. Not a power hitter one day and ground balls the next day. I want to consistently be a good power hitter. I want to turn some heads this year.
We've got a pretty good lineup to help you out with that for sure,
Yep.
and a really good pitching staff too. You mentioned working with the pitchers, and Coach Shalise has recruited some really solid pitchers. Obviously, we have some great returners as well with Chloe
Mhm.
Jones, Casey Allison, some freshmen. What have you seen so far as we get ready for the season from the pitching staff?
We are fully like every single pitcher we have, I have the most confidence in. Like, there's not one um, negative or like in our pitching staff at all. There's a lot of great speed, and they're coming back and they're working hard, which is good. We need that because pitching sometimes it's a very family sport, but sometimes pitching could be very like individual. And I think my pitches are always in like the great mind space, and that's what it really is, having a good mindset.
No doubt. I think it was Yogi Berra, another catcher, who said 90% of the game is half mental or something like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
I want to shift to the academic side of things a little bit. Talk about your academic career here at AIC. You're a junior now, majoring in psychology, and you have a minor that you're working on as well. You've mentioned wanting to go into education. Are there any specific career goals that you have in mind with what you're doing here at AIC?
Yes, I actually was originally going to be for special education, but I just kind of realized it wasn't really for me as much. And I really am looking forward to being a therapist, specifically a student adjustment counselor in a high school. I don't know. I just feel like I like to listen to people. I like to talk to people and try to give them the best advice that I can, or what I think they should do, not what I would do in the situation sometimes. Um, I also like want to be in a high school because I really want to coach. Like I'm not ready to be done playing sports, and right now it's kind of my pros. So I want to give back because I had such great coaches. So I kind of want to be that for somebody one day.
Is there any particular thing that got you into, I mean, aside from wanting to be able to coach, to working with high school students at that particular level? It was something actually that I was interested in when I was doing my studies here at AIC.
Yeah. So my aunt is actually a therapist, but my sister, my older sister, she kind of has like a couple of learning disabilities and like some other stuff. So I really growing up, like I've learned to like how to react and like stuff like that. And it's kind of hard at a young age because you have to, being the youngest of three, like I had to understand and like kind of be the more mature one. But so I've always kind of had that interest such a young age. And then in high school, I did a lot of internships and I just more and more I really enjoyed it. I love kids too.
Do you have any particular professors through your first 3 years that you would say have been kind of influential on you, or people that you've really felt like, this professor taught me a lot of things? Somebody
Y-
that you really look
yeah,
up to?
my professor, Dr. Sago, actually, I've had her for stats and I have her now for experimental, and always like it's a very hard class each time I've taken her, but I succeed well because of the way she like pushes us, and I like the way that she teaches. And I don't know, she like also talks about how everything else going on in the world, so we have to focus on ourselves right now too, because we want to be therapists or we want to be in that field of study. So mental health, like we have to focus on what is really going on with us and are we being mentally healthy or stuff like that, you know? But no, Dr. Sago, I think, is one of my favorite professors I've had here. She's great.
How has it been adjusting to doing remote learning? Obviously, it's not ideal, but given the circumstances necessary, how have you been able to handle that challenge?
Personally, it's been very hard for me. I'm a very like hands-on learner almost. Like it's so hard for me to just see notes and take them. Like I like them to kind of be not explained, but like almost not in the definition words, like how I could sometimes take it in and how to perceive it myself.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to like put myself in a learning situation. So what I've been doing is sometimes I go to Amaron, like the buildings that we have on campus where we used to have classes. I'll go in there and maybe do class or do work. That way I put myself in that learning um, environment again. Because I liked going to class. I enjoyed going to class, and I wouldn't think I'd be saying that, but with being remote, I really wish I could go back to going to classes again.
Yeah, it's sort of not unlike what you said about softball, about not really understanding what you have until you don't have it anymore,
Yeah.
and the different learning styles that people have. Um, let me shift gears again. I want to ask you about some interests that you have outside of sports and outside of your academics. What's something that Victoria Andrade does, when she's got some free time, things that you enjoy, hobbies or things that we might not know about?
Um, Hold on. I'm sorry. I really enjoy. Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
You're good.
I like to be outside a lot, and I love like I don't know. I like not always like not a huge hike person, but I really like to just see good scenery. That's my thing. Like I love to see sunsets, sunrises.
Mm.
Um, I love to drive my car a lot too and listen to music. That's like my big thing. When I get free time, I'm just like, I'm going for a ride just to relax. I love music and driving my car. I don't know. I just love it. It's like my relaxing like time.
What's your playlist right now? If you're driving around, give me 5 songs.
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I listen to all sorts of music. Like I listen to everything that there is. Anything under the sun, I listen to. I couldn't even pick out five for you, Seth. I don't know.
That's fair enough. I'm the same way. I have, just throw things on shuffle and see what comes up.
Yeah, I like country. I like rap. I mean, I play softball, so I gotta like country. It's part of the nice weather and that stuff. I really like all types of music, though.
I was gonna say it's definitely part of the culture, and having sitting through your warm-ups every year. It's definitely always a collection of randomness, which is
Yeah,
fitting for, a team is just a collection of so many different people.
many different
Um,
characters.
who uh who on the team has the best taste in music? Like if you had to have one person on your team make your entire warm-up and that was the one you would have, who would be the person that you would say, I want this person to do it?
Ooh, I would probably say Ari. Me and Ari have very like we both listen to everything. So I'd definitely say Ari. I get a lot of my like she sends me songs. She's like, this made me think of you. I wanna go crazy to it. I'm like, okay, I like it. But yeah,
Sounds
definitely Ari.
that's I was kind of thinking that she would be the answer. That's a really good choice. Last question we ask, and we ask everybody this: other than your parents, who's somebody who's had a major influence on you, and in what way have they helped shape who you are?
Um, I think I would say my high school coach, Harold Sachs, because from the start he saw like my potential and what I could be, and he pushed me really hard to be what he thought I could be. And I think that's I came out to be this way because he saw so highly of me and made me work for it. Um, and I don't know. I just feel like having that he kind of ran practices of how I feel like a college level would be. Like it's very like we're always going, always doing something. Like there's no walking around, there's no downtime in practice. So I was kind of set up to be that way when I came to here and like to already have that what is that word? That discipline. I already had that discipline that you didn't talk back, you did what you like, you know what I'm saying? You have respect. So it was good to have that like figure it out at such a young age at 15 and have such high expectations of me, to fill those expectations.
Yeah, having somebody who knows what you're capable of and pushes you to get there is super important. And
Hmm.
clearly it worked because you're a heck of a softball player. And looking forward to getting to see you compete this spring when we get this thing started. It's hard to believe we're just 12 days away from the first one.
I know. It's insane. I feel it's been so long and it's like it feels like a fever dream. Like I don't know. I just feel like being back in softball, not like didn't it kind of not gave me a purpose again, but it did again because I've never been without softball since I've been playing of 8. I've played all year round since 8 to now at 21. It's insane. So having it back, it's kind of like you just feel good. Like I don't know, not that I was sad, but you know what I'm saying? Like something was kind of missing. And I was like, because it's my escape as much as like I love the sport. Like my whole team are my best friends. Sometimes it's for the social aspect of, well, like I love softball, but my team has always been my family and my best friends. And it's so hard to go there. Can't ever be in a bad mood. Like there's no time for it. My team's always so happy and going even at a 6 a.m. practice. It literally makes practice so much better because you walk into the locker room at 5:30 in the morning, there's already crazy music at max volume, so it really like there's no time to be in a bad mood. It's an escape. It's really nice.
For anybody out there who doesn't believe what she's saying about waking up at 6 in the morning and this team being like that, I can assure you I've been there. She's not lying. The softball team is a lot of fun to be around. And V, really appreciate you doing this because you're one of the people that makes it go. So looking
Thank
forward to
you.
getting to finally see you compete again for the first time in a couple of years. Hopefully, hopefully the weather cooperates because
I know.
that's another thing that can tend to get in the way. But it's just a couple weeks away.
I know. I'm very excited.
Victoria Andrade from our softball team here on the Yellow Jacket Experience. Keep your eyes peeled for more episodes coming up is we're going to have some special guests come on for National Athletic Training Month as well.